Hey everybody, it's me Sissy, and today we are going to try to make a bunny wreath out of these bamboo wreaths that I got from Dollar Tree. So let's get started and see what we do. Okay, so we're going to take our bamboo wreaths, and I'm going to use, they're two different sizes. It's slightly smaller and then a slightly larger. So we're going to take one of the slightly larger ones, and that's going to be the bottom of our bunny. And then the slightly smaller, the smallest one I got, let's see. I want that to be the head of my bunny, but I might want this to be smaller, so I don't want to take this apart and destroy it. But I do want it to be smaller. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for like the thinnest place which on my wreath, which is going to be right here. That'll be the easiest place to cut. So I'm going to cut it and actually make this wreath smaller. So I am going to tape off this end because I don't want it to unravel. I want to take out a little section, probably about that big, so I'm going to tape over here. And then I'm going to figure out the best way to cut this. So we're just going to try with scissors first. That's not going to work, so we're going to try my little hacksaw. My Dollar Tree hacksaw, and we're just going to try, maybe I need to prop it up on something. I'll prop it on my sanding block. So, okay, and then I'm just going to put some hot glue on that end to keep it from unraveling. So, now I'm going to leave a few of these little pieces left on here so I can kind of use them to hold my wreath back together. Okay, and now just like I did the other end, I'm going to put some hot glue on this end to keep it together. And I'm just putting a good glob of glue and letting it kind of sink down into the branches. Alright, then we're going to take the tape off the other end because it's had a chance to harden a little bit. Okay, I want to make sure that I glue this string down because I don't want the whole wreath to unravel. Handy little glue fingers. I'm going to hold that right there and let it harden. Okay, so I've got some burlap twine, and we're going to use that when we put our, let's go ahead and take this tape off this end. I'm being careful not to cut the twine that's already around the wreath. Okay, so, and I'm just going to knot my piece of twine onto this piece of twine. And wrap it around. Okay, and now when we get to this piece right here, we're going to put our two pieces together. First I'm going to put some glue on it. this with one hand. And not stick my fingers in glue. Okay, so, alright, now we're just going to wrap this around. Get right on that edge, and then I'm going to switch over, get my sanding block out of the way. Then we're going to get that tight as we can. And then we'll just wrap that to the end. And then we'll glue that piece of twine down. Okay, so we got that slightly smaller, so we can use that as a head. And you might have to bend it a little bit to get it in round. Okay. So we got our body and our head. Now we've got to work on our ears. And so we're just going to take some twine and kind of tie these together, which I mean we can go ahead and do that now. On the body of the bunny and his head. So tie that. We're just going to get a piece of our burlap twine. And don't be stingy. We're just going to stick a knot. And then we're just going to wrap it round and round. Okay, then you can take a look at it and see if your bunny is round enough. I think that bunny looks pretty good. And now we're going to do the hard part. Well, to me, I think it's going to be the hard part, but it might not. It could be simple. We'll just have to wait and see. We're going to make ears. And we have to decide how tall we want his or her ears to be. We're just going to take a wreath and we're going to use our muscles. And we're going to squishy that part. But now we don't want to break it. We want to just bend it a little bit. Okay, so we got that bent. We got to see how tall we want this bunny's ears to be. How tall is the body? The bottom body? So let me measure that with that. So I think that might be long enough. So we need to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie this wreath. If I can find my string. There we go. I'm just going to pull it tight and find the length that I want my bunny's ear to be. I'm going to say about that long. And we're just going to tie around here. Tie that. Let's scissors. I'm going to clip that off. Now, we're just going to lay this out and see. Okay, y'all, do I think that bunny's ears are too big? I think it could be cute, so that is the length we're going for. And now the tricky part. We're going to see if we can cut this off without it unraveling, which I think I need to secure these ends right here before I start cutting. So just I managed to cut my twine, so let's be sure and get that glued down so it doesn't unravel. Alright, now I'm going to put a good amount of glue on the end right here. We just want this to hold together. So now we're going to do this dried or hardened nice and smooth, so we're going to go ahead and cut the other side and get some glue on it. Okay, so we're going to get our ears ready to go on our wreath. So we're going to take a piece of twine and we're just going to wrap it around and around this twine that we have on the bottom to kind of pull it in a little bit. And now to keep our twine from pulling off, I've got a generous amount of glue on the twine to hold it on. Okay. So now that we've got that, we're going to, and I've already did the other one off camera, so we're just going to go ahead and attach these to the head of our bunny. So we have our bunny here. And we're going to just position our ears. Okay. Let me get my little silicone mat. I got this little silicone mat on Amazon. They come in a bunch of different sizes, and this is great when you're gluing and you don't want something to stick. Okay, so we're going to position both our ears. Okay, then we're going to be generous with the glue. Get some glue on here. And then we're going to take our twine, and just while we're waiting for the glue to harden, we're just going to tie our ear on in place. Okay, we're just going to let that harden for a little bit, and then we're going to go from behind and put some more glue and then wrap twine around it to kind of cover up the glue. And we're going to do that for both ears. Okay, to finish off our bunny's ears, we're just going to take a piece of twine and we're just going to wrap it around and around. Till it's nice and secure. And it covers up, you know, where you cut off if it wasn't exactly even. And then we can put some flowers over it and it won't be so noticeable. So I'm going to do that on both sides, and then I'm going to tie it in the back and put some more glue on the back. Okay, now while our glue is hardening on our bunnies, we're going to work on the decoration. Okay, so now we're going to make the bow. That's my pup getting some water. Make the bow for the for our bunny wreath. And this is a Pro Bow, the hand. It helps make bows. I got it on Amazon. I have some arthritis in my hand, so sometimes it's hard for me to hold ribbons, and this will hold it for you. You don't need this to make a bow. You don't have to have it. If you can hold it in your hand. This just helps keep it symmetrical, and I love any kind of little gadget. And you can move these pegs out and make bigger bows, or smaller bows, or have different size loops, and it keeps everything nice, and you don't have that one loop at the end that's way too long. So, but anyway, I want to make like a 12-inch bow, so I've got my pegs in C, and I'm not going to put one in the center because I want all my loops to kind of fan out. And I'm going to be doing a bow on that they show on their webpage, probowthehand.com, and it's called the Terry bow, after the lady who invented it. They call them recipes, but it's using scraps of ribbons. So I'm going to use 6 different ribbons to make each, or 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 different ribbons to make my bow, using up all my different scraps. And then it makes a cute, fun bow if you get all your colors coordinated and everything. So I have all of the Easter ribbons from Dollar Tree. I have the pink, the plaid, a different plaid, purple. This is the only one not from Dollar Tree. This is just a white. And then I have the Easter eggs. And when you get the Pro Bow, it comes with a ribbon spool holder, and you can just put your ribbons on there and pull them off, and you don't have them rolling all over the floor. So anyway, that's what we're going to use. And I've made a few practice bows, so this is the first time for me. So if y'all don't want to see this, just skip over it. You can just make a simple loop bow holding it in your hand, but I got my new toy and I wanted to play with it. But we're going to start with some floral wire, and let me see. I got a new pack and I can't find the end. There we go. And we're going to just get 2 pieces of wire. I'm going to measure the length of my Pro Bow here, and we're going to fold it in 2, and that's going to be our first piece. And we're going to clip that, and then we're going to do another piece the same length. Okay. I'm just going to put these out here out of the way for the moment. Then we're going to take my first ribbon, and I'm going to measure from the center peg right here to my outer peg, the length, and I went ahead and dovetailed the end. I just folded it and snipped it. So we're going to measure, and then we're just going to take this ribbon, and we're going to put the pretty side facing the peg, and we're going to take this and loop it over the first peg. And you don't have to pull it real tight. Then we're going to come back here to the peg, and we're just going to hold that right there, and we're going to twist, take the bottom of the ribbon, twist it up, and that will put the right side of our ribbon up. We're going to put our little tail up here, and then we're just going to go over this peg. Make sure I don't have a crease in my ribbon. There we go. And then we're going to come back to the center here, and we're going to pinch it. And then we're going to take one piece of our wire. We're going to stick it under our ribbon right here. Oops. Let me get a straight piece. I got it bent up. We're going to stick it under our ribbon. Okay, and we're going to pull it till it comes back round to the back of the peg. We're just going to take it and twist it one time, and then we're going to wrap this around our peg clockwise and just leave a little tail sticking up, and then there's a little nail right here. We're just going to wrap it around that, and then we're just going to put that wire underneath our board so it's out of the way. Then we're going to take our other tail here, and we're going to measure down to this peg, and we're going to cut it. And then just push that tail over there. So that's our first ribbon. So then we're going to do our next ribbon, which I have this pretty pink sheer ribbon, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to dovetail the end. Measure to this point, then we're just going to crimp it, and then we're going to put it over this peg, pull it back, then put this ribbon here, and get here, we're going to twist it, okay, and then we're going to go over the next peg with the pretty side of our ribbon, and we're going to put our tail out the way. There we go. And put our ribbon over the peg, pull it to here, and then crunch it. Then we're going to take our other piece of ribbon and do just like we did with the first piece of wire. We're going to take our other wire and put it under the ribbon, and then we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to get the center, we're going to pull it round to the back, and we're just going to give it one twist. Okay, that's all you got to do. Then we're going to take this piece and we're going to fold our ends and dovetail, and then we're going to do the same thing with all our other ribbons. And I'm just going to fast forward through this part. Take out our pegs. And we have our bow. Isn't it beautiful? No, we're not done. So we're going to fluff out our bow. They have something called a fluff box that you can buy, but really all it is a block of wood with a nail in it that holds your wreath down. Your bow down. I'm going to make one myself, and I'll show y'all how I do that. But what we're going to do is we're going to take our bow, and we're going to start with the top, and we're going to do our tails across from each other. So we have a loop, a tail, a loop. And then the next one we're going to do a tail under the loop, and then we're going to alternate loops and tails. So we have our bow, we have our bunny, and instead of twisting it on this way, I'm going to twist it this horizontally. So I'm just going to twist it around and flip it over, and I'm holding it up because I don't want to squish my bow. And we're just going to tie it around in the back, and then we'll clip our wires off. Okay, so we have our bunny and our bow, and now I'm just going to add in some flowers. So I'm going to try to zoom y'all out a little bit so y'all can see what I'm doing. Okay, so we've got our ribbon on our bunny. That will stick off. And I have an assortment of flowers and greenery, and we're just going to add a few flowers to the bottom of the bunny, maybe on his ears, and in our bow, okay? And that's completely up to you. You can leave it just like this. You could go crazy and cover the whole thing in flowers. But I'm just going to add a few spring flowers. The ears right here, so we're just going to flip it over. And I'm going to take a piece of floral wire, going to fold it in two, and I'm just going to stick it through my wreath. Give it a twist. And then I'm just going to kind of tie it in a knot to make a loop. That's the bunny wreath. I got it all fluffed out. Got some flowers on it. Of course, you could just go do flowers all the way around it, around the ears or whatever. But I think it looks really cute. I need to fluff that bow a little more, but I think it turned out really great. Okay, that's it. That's my bunny wreath. I love how it turned out. I thought it was really cool, and I was glad that I was able to make it using all Dollar Tree items. So all the wreaths came from Dollar Tree, all the ribbon except for the white ribbon and all of the flowers. Some of the yellow flowers came from Walmart, but they were 97 cents. So it was a very economical way to make a really stunning, huge, it is huge, it's like 3 feet tall, bunny wreath. But anyway, remember, if Sissy can do it, you can do it too. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.